Hello and welcome to this segment of Arts Talk. I'm Sherri Burr and my co-host for this segment is Kate Eaton. Welcome, Kate.
Hi, thanks.
And our special guest for this segment is the children's book writer, Elsie Kreischer. Welcome, Elsie.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. And we'll let Kate ask the first question.
Okay. Elsie, I'm a writer myself, and so I was particularly interested in when you really began to write. From speaking with you on the phone, you said that you have been writing and teaching writing for the past 22 years.
Yes, I have.
And so I wanted to learn more about what specifically prompted you to begin writing professionally and why children's books and why when you were 66 years old.
Well, when I was 4 years old, I wanted to learn to read. I had a 9-year-old sister, and she could read, and I thought she was the most wonderful person on the face of the earth. I had no intention of becoming a writer, just so I could read. Well, my sister taught me to read at the age of 4, and I never stopped reading. And then I decided, well, I'd like to write some of these books myself. But I was young, foolish, got married, and raised kids, and then when they were, last one went to school, I thought, well, I'm going to write. So I sat down and whacked out a story. I sent it to Wee Wisdom magazine for children. They bought it and sent me a check for $15. I thought I knew everything there was about writing, but I had a lot to learn. And I had my husband take my picture with that $15 check. My 9-year-old son looked at me and he said, well, Mother, if it was $15,000, I could see why you'd be excited. He didn't realize the value of your first sale.
Exactly.
So then I wrote a book called The Navajo Magic of Hunting.
And that's this one, right?
That, I didn't even have an agent. And
you sold it yourself.
The Montana Council for Indian Education bought it. And it won first place with the National League of American Penwomen, a writing contest. So then I thought, well, I really know everything about writing, but I still didn't know that much. And then from there I went on writing my other books and teaching.
How many books have you written altogether? Three.
I got 2 at the market and 2 I just finished. But it takes maybe 2 years for an editor to answer you if they'll buy your book or not. And then after they do that, it goes from 18 to 24 months to get them published, sometimes longer. I may not live long enough to see the next 4 come out.
So do you think that being a writer requires a great deal of patience?
It takes a lot of patience, a lot of know-how.
Why don't you tell us what this book is about?
That is a mystery, believe it or not. And there is not a dog in that book. It was a very bad
design.
Illustrations. She has a dog on every page.
It's called Bigger Than a Button.
It says, Mommy, buy me the doggy book. Well, it's a measurement of love with the moon, the river, the ocean, and things like that, and you've got to guess what it is.
I read that to my son yesterday, actually. It was good. It held his attention. He doesn't have a very long attention.
For little kids.
Yeah. So when you began writing, you just immediately began writing children's books?
Yes.
What about children's books drew you to them? And do you feel that it was easier to start publishing in that genre?
No, because that's one of the hardest genres there are to write for. There are so many restrictions on them. Topic, words, and a number of things, and you've got to know them all. An editor can look in your first paragraph and know if you know what you're doing or not. I accidentally wrote the first book and didn't know all that stuff.
Oh. So you had to do a great deal of revising to fit the restrictions?
Do what?
Revising to fit the restrictions?
I don't do a whole lot of revising. I go very slowly. I think about it a lot. Wake up in the middle of the night and know where there's a mistake and just hop out of bed, go in and change it, and then go back and go to sleep. But I do very little revising.
Okay. And you currently teach writing, and do you just teach writing for children's?
That's all I teach.
literature?
I teach the picture book, which everyone thinks they can write, but that is the hardest genre to write for.
Oh, books like these where there are pictures on the side?
Yeah, it's half pictures and half words. And
Why is that the hardest genre? Is that,
because
the
there's so
pictures-
many restrictions on it.
oh, okay. Do the pictures come after the words?
Do what?
The pictures come after the words, so you write the
No,
book
I
first?
write my story, but I don't do the pictures.
Right, so they add the pictures
They
after
do
you...
the pictures.
Okay.
And you don't collaborate with the illustrator?
No,
They find an
no.
illustrator?
Unless you're somebody like Tony Hillerman, you don't know what they're going to do.
Okay. How did you find your first agent, and do you still have this?
I don't have an agent.
You don't?
I've sold 3 books and no agent. Sold them first time out.
How do you go about selling a book?
How do I go about what?
Selling a book.
I don't. I let the bookstores do that. I write them. I don't sell them.
Well, I mean, how do you get them published, I guess, without an agent?
Well, you just send it to the market.
Okay.
And if they buy your book, then that second book there, Maria,
Maria?
my publisher set up about 3 book autograph parties in Albuquerque. She flew me to Arizona, took me all over Arizona selling that book, and paid all my expenses, and she did all the advertising.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to do anything.
So when you say the market, do you mean like you identify a particular press or publishing house?
Publishers,
Okay.
publishers.
So you just send it out like 50 or so publishing houses?
Well, that Maria book, I was at a writers' conference one day, and Pelican, the publisher, their regional director came up to me and she said, "I understand you're writing a book about Maria Martinez." And I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Wait, I have it first before you send it to anyone when you finish it." And I said, "Oh, sure." I thought, well, I don't know when I'll finish it, but when I did, I sent it to her and they bought it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Let's ask the audience if they have any questions for Elsie Kreischer.
They have to ask loud or I can't hear them.
Okay, and I'll repeat the question. Debbie, do you have a question?
If one wants to start writing children's books, what would be your advice?
I can't hear her.
If someone wants to start writing children's books, what would be your advice, Elsie?
Take some classes, learn the rules for every genre you write. Whether it's the middle grade reader, the
Right.
picture book, that's the middle grade reader, and that's the middle grade reader, and that's the
And this
picture
is the
book.
picture book.
And this is nonfiction. You got to know there's rules for every genre you write.
Any other? Yes, Debbie?
Can you give us an example of some of the rules to be aware of, say, in writing for the picture book?
Can you give an example of some of the rules to be aware of in writing for the picture book market?
Well, as I said before, there is a vocabulary. There's certain words you can use. And you better buy a word book. And it tells you all the way up to the 8th grade what words are available. And there's this subject matter. You've got to do what little kids will understand.
Okay. Are there other questions for Elsie? Yes, Ryan?
How have your grandchildren enjoyed your
You
children's
can hear me?
How have your grandchildren enjoyed your children's books?
Well, my grandchildren like my books, but they read other people's books too, and they have their favorites, and I'm not sure mine is their favorite. I even have great-grandchildren reading them now.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
6 great-grandkids.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have a last question for Elsie?
I don't. I think our time is up. Well, thank you, Elsie, for coming to talk to us about your children's books.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
It was great meeting you.
I feel I've accomplished a lot in life. I learned to read, now I learned to write some books.
Great. Congratulations, Elsie. Thank you.